Homelessness is the fastest growing industry in the United States. You know, one thing that's been bothering me that I wanted to really just put it down somewhere is how the world seems to be getting crazier and crazier and crazier. But it's not that the world's getting crazier, it's that industries that shouldn't grow are growing. For example, we have several industries that are dependent on not positive things to grow. So we have law enforcement, and it's not a negative thing. We have health, and within that, health insurance. And then we have nonprofits, which seems that all these things are a positive thing, right? Because, I mean, we need law enforcement, and we need the court system, courts, we need police officers, and everything else that goes with law enforcement in order for us to be able to live in a society that's functional. Health, how can that be negative, right? Because health, we need health. We need health, we need doctors, we need medicine, and so on, in order for us to live happy, healthy lives. And then nonprofits, these are organizations that sacrifice profits in order to help, right? So in the nonprofits, you have all sorts of nonprofits, from drug rehab to giving food distribution. I mean, all positive things that we need. However, this is where it gets a little complicated and a little bit of a conflict of interest, because now, if you have these things, in order for these things to survive, you need crime, you need a disease, in specific, just to be more specific, not just disease, but let's say mental issues, mental health, just to be just more specific. Obviously, there's a range of that goes under health, and in the nonprofits, we need people that are needy. We need people that need help. So these things are what feeds these things, which is the negative is feeding the positive. These are great things that we need, but these are things that we don't need. But you can't have these things without these things. You see what I'm saying here? So you need crime to have law enforcement. Some people argue, well, you need law enforcement because we have crime. But really, who benefits more from crime? Because at the end of the day, this is funded by the government, right? So law enforcement is getting money regardless of the crime. There could be more crime, and then they're going to get more money, because now we need more money to solve more crime. So who benefits from more crime? In theory, right? So in health, mental health issues, just like I said, specific health issue, who will benefit from that? Well, here, health and health insurance needs mental health issues, because now, you got to get prescriptions prescriptions, you need mental health treatment, and everything that goes along with that. And then nonprofits, you need people that need help. Without people that need help, or animals, or whatever the cost is, but there wouldn't be a need for a nonprofit. So if, let's say, there's a food bank or there's a drug rehab, so you need those people that need help in order for this to exist. So the conflict is that for our positive things to exist, they are in need of a negative thing. Now, what happens is, why would you focus on solving crime when crime is your client? Crime is your product. Without this, there is no law enforcement. So that's why it's called law enforcement, because it's just to enforce the laws, not to solve crime. It doesn't make sense that they put themselves out of business by solving crime. If there's no crime, there's no need for any police or any courts. You wouldn't need that in a perfect world, right? But they need it. In a perfect world without mental health issues or even other health issues, you wouldn't need doctors and you wouldn't need medicine. So we need that because there is a need. And then again, without people needing food or whatever cost, then the nonprofits, especially the ones that receive funds from government, why would they even exist? If everybody has food, everybody has water, everybody has access to health. So the conflict comes into where there's an imbalance, right? Where now, let's say a police officer makes X amount. Sorry about my dollar sign there. X amount. That's a dollar sign and an X. And that police officer makes amount. But now there's more crime. So he's going to get more overtime. So that's more of this. Now, it might not even be something that the police wants, but once you get used to making two of these instead of one X, 2X instead of 1X, it's hard to go back, especially when your lifestyle changes and now, okay, you're getting this overtime and you're benefiting from this money, new money, extra money that's coming in. But imagine if someone says, hey, I have a solution. I solve crime. There's no more crime. So how hard would it be to take that away or even take all of it away, saying, hey, sorry, police officers, we have no need for police officers ever again. Now you're talking about a whole industry that would not exist. So that would never happen, obviously. I'm exaggerating, but I'm giving you the conflict on why it's hard to find a solution when you're benefiting from the problem. And not that you're benefiting because you want to, because we need the police officers and we need doctors, obviously, and medicine. And we need nonprofits to be out here helping people that actually need that help, and families, and giving education and services. But what happens is, with that increase in these, there is an increase in this. And it makes it really difficult for anybody that has 2 cents in front of them or any sense to not understand this, even if it's in the back of their heads. So if I have a homeless shelter and there is no homeless, I am out of business. You see how that works? So if I have a homeless shelter, my homeless shelter, I'm going to make a little homeless shelter house here. Yeah, I'm not a drawer, obviously, but I do my effort. That's a shelter. Let's put a window there, right? We want them to get some sun. So that's my homeless shelter. I need homeless to go in there. If there's no homeless, I'm out of business. But so instead of me focusing on, you know what, how do we eradicate homelessness? How do we get rid of homelessness altogether forever? I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking, how can I make my shelter better? How can I make my shelter more efficient so that I can help more homeless? I want to be able to help more homeless, so I want to maybe get extra beds. Maybe I want to get extra services. Maybe I want to improve certain parts of my homeless shelter so that I can fit more homeless. And therefore, in the process of helping, I'm making more, which is a legit incentive. You want to make money from helping people. I think that that's why, not even make money. I mean, you want to be able to be funded properly to help people, because that incentivizes people to help more people. But when the money depends on the problem, you'll never find a solution. There's no way. There's no way that everybody's going to come together and solve homelessness, because it's the fastest growing industry in the United States. Listen to me. Homelessness is the fastest growing industry in the United States. And it makes sense. It makes sense. There's a lot of money in homelessness. There's a lot of money in the building of housing. There's a lot of money in the providing of services. There's a lot of money in health services, and mental health services, and prescription pill services, even needles that are being given out to some of the people that are houseless, and they're giving them free needles to do drugs. But if you have diabetes, they won't give you a free needle. You got to go talk to your healthcare insurance provider. So this is what I mean, that we are solving a problem that cannot be solved because the solution is dependent on the problem. You see what I mean? It's like a catch-22. You get rid of homelessness, then you get rid of the services for homelessness. So you can't get rid of the services for homelessness because we have homeless. So all of this, I can go deeper into this on how some of these things interact. For example, mental health issues usually lead to some sort of need for homeless services, because a lot of the unfortunately, the people that are houseless, which is the word that I've been told to I should use. At this point, I'm just doing this video, but a lot of the health issue, they're homeless, or the homeless have health issues, so they interact. So health and now these shelters, they work together. And now some of them are out of control or on drugs or whatever it is. So you need law enforcement to step in here and either get them to health services or get them to a shelter. But now you have law enforcement. So now these industries, these nonprofits and health industries, and all of them work together to help people. But you see the triple conflict, or even more, that it causes, because now they're all interdependent. So you need, a lot of the crime that happens. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know the numbers, but I wouldn't doubt that it comes from a lot of mental health issues, not just the environment, but a lot of trauma, a lot of unresolved issues from childhood that allow a lot of the crime, the people that commit crime, especially hideous and really violent crimes, it comes from a lot of mental health issues. So these are people that need help, or if not, they're going to commit a crime, and law enforcement is going to take care of them. Which we can go deeper into. Well, now you get someone that commits a crime and you put them in jail. That jail is a private institution that makes money on each inmate. So now there's an incentive to get, to channel some of these people here to make money. We can go deeper in another part, but I just wanted to put this sort of map out here, because I think we are missing the point of what it is to help. We want to help, but beyond helping, we want to solve the problem. And I think we've lost track of the problem because we are so focused on the help. So we're so focused on the water that's spilling out of the basket that we're not realizing that the basket is a problem. We're just trying to, mend these holes so this water doesn't come out. When at the end of the day, he's like, hey, let's get a bucket. The basket's not working. So just wanted to put that out. Um, and yeah, I mean, maybe I'll do a part two later and go deeper into, the health insurance and how insurance in general benefits from all of this, and how government, this is a way of controlling a lot of the money that goes in and out of different places. And this is how you get scared to vote, or this is how you get disappointed to vote from all of this, because, you got the homeless problem. So now you want to vote somebody out. That person is really the next person, whatever person you elect is not going to come in and solve anything. Because one, it's not a housing problem, because they say, oh, well, let's make more housing for the homeless, more housing. It's not a housing problem. A lot of the people that have been homeless 15 years, you can't just give them an apartment, because they're just going to be homeless in the apartment. They'll literally will live in a tent inside their apartment. It happens, so they need rehabilitation. They need to come back into the society that they left before they can get housing, because the housing is just not going to solve the problem, or the mental health issues, or whatever it is that's the problem. So first, they need to be rehabilitated, whether it be from drugs or from being homeless itself, from years of trauma in the street and from living here and struggling. And now you're giving them everything. They're not going to appreciate it. They don't know what to do. So we need to rehabilitate before we find housing. First rehabilitation, then you find the housing, then, because now they can work, and you can't just be like, oh, it's just a housing problem. Give them a house. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. There's so many layers. You've been 15 years, fighting your way every night for a place to sleep in a tent outside, and now you give it an apartment. I'm not even comfortable in there, you see. So till next time, see, I'm out.